Well, Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito is rejecting calls to step aside from cases related to January 6. The conflict concerns two flags flown at his residence. One of them is a replica of a flag George Washington used to inspire his troops in the Revolutionary War. Tara Mergener has more.
One of the flags in question is the Appeal to Heaven flag. It's been around since the Revolutionary War. However, it's seen a surge in popularity over the past decade, including among Trump supporters. Why it was flown on the justice's property and whether he can rule fairly on these cases is the subject of a growing political fight.
I think what he did was really the wrong thing to do, and it casts some doubt on impartiality.
Despite demands from Democrats in both chambers, Justice Samuel Alito has refused to abstain from cases linked to the 2020 presidential election or the January 6th Capitol riot. At issue, an upside-down American flag, traditionally a sign of distress, displayed outside Alito's Virginia home in 2021, and an Appeal to Heaven flag outside his vacation home last year, both images causing an uproar after being published in the New York Times.
The Appeal to Heaven flag has a more particular history. It was originally associated with John Locke, the philosopher, who argued that, like biblical figures, individuals retain the right to appeal to heaven and thus wage revolution.
Also known as the pine tree flag, George Washington used it to inspire his troops.
It became the symbol of these colonists' unwavering spirit of liberty, as well as a clear statement of where they placed their faith.
It's also been part of Christian prayer events, without gaining much attention until now.
Is this just a chance indiscretion, or is it a conscious declaration of his MAGA loyalty?
The flag's historical significance is now entangled with contemporary politics.
This was a flag that was very prominent in this movement, particularly the charismatic elements of charismatic Christian elements of Trump support. Throughout his presidency, and definitely after the presidential election and the lead up to January 6th.
In a letter to Congress by the Supreme Court, Alito maintains his recusal is not warranted, stating the two incidents you cite do not meet the conditions for recusal. As I have stated publicly, I had nothing whatsoever to do with the flying of that flag. Chief Justice John Roberts declined an invitation from Democratic Senators Dick Durbin and Sheldon Whitehouse, who serve on the Senate Judiciary Committee, to discuss the court's ethical practices.
If you take away partisanship and the desire of some folks, including members of Congress, to remove people from a court decision if they don't like the way they're likely to vote, this is much ado about nothing. Nothing that has happened with Justice Alito remotely suggests a need to recuse.
Conservative talk show host Eric Erickson criticizes what he sees as a double standard in media coverage.
What's so funny here is that the media organizations that have bought into this story from the left are also the ones giving Judge Merchan in Donald Trump's trial a complete pass for giving money to a fund that was specifically earmarked for, quote, stop Donald Trump and his right-wing legacy.
As questions persist about the political symbolism and impartiality of the highest court in the land, the debate intensifies.
The Appeal to Heaven flag was swapped with an American flag on Saturday.
The historic flag, flown in front of San Francisco City Hall for 60 years, symbolizing America's quest for independence, has been removed a month before Independence Day. While congressional Democrats are slamming Alito's refusal to recuse himself, Donald Trump is praising the conservative justice's move, saying it shows intelligence, courage, and guts. In Washington, I'm Tara Mergener, CBN News.
I think the Appeal to Heaven flag is fine. There's a very long history of that. The upside-down American flag, a sign of distress, I'm not so much in favor of that. But all of this is sort of, it kind of underlines a double standard, that if you're a conservative, then somehow or other you have to hide your beliefs and you don't get to be public with it. Supreme Court justices are still citizens of the United States, and they have every right to participate in the political process. They have every right to let people know how they think, and they can fly whatever flag they want to fly. The double standard seems to be quite evident, and here's something I learned in law school that I'll repeat to you. Judges are politicians. That's how you get appointed. You have to have inroads within the ruling party. So if the Democrat is in the White House, well, of course, he's going to appoint a Democrat to the Supreme Court. If a Republican is in the White House, well, of course, he's going to appoint a Republican. That's how the political process works, and ultimately it means that you and I, as citizens, when we vote for particular parties or particular candidates, are expecting them to appoint like-minded people to the bench. That's part of the process. I don't see where the problem